Plato, in his famous work, The Republic, introduces the allegory of the cave. In it, humans are all trained to look only in one direction at the wall. They are then shown two-dimensional projections, and they are told that there is nothing more to life than these projections. It is all that they know to hear, to see, and to feel. One day, one of these people manages to walk out of the cave, and they discover a whole new dimension outside, one with colors and scents unbeknownst to him, with sounds and tastes as exotic as ever. He returned to the cave a few years later after indulging in every single bit of knowledge outside of it, and with the hopes of enlightening those that live within it. To his surprise, nobody inside takes notice of the man, for they have lived all their lives in ignorance with only the projections. I wanted to share that story because I think that our lives currently mirror a very similar situation. We live in this world where social rhetoric is often framed around the binaries of costs and benefits, where everything that we do in life seems to only lead up to the question of whether or not we're quote-unquote ready for the real world. We are told that the only activities that are worth pursuing are the ones that have clear, tangible outcomes, and that everything else in life is just another frivolous pursuit. Growing up, as I'm sure many of you in the audience will understand, I was taught that the goal of life was material success. It was to get into the best college, take applied business and computer science, and then get a job at Silicon Valley or Wall Street, going into McKinsey or Goldman Sachs, Google or Apple. And so I used to buy into this narrative, and I trained myself to believe that the materialist lie was all there was to life, and that the cave was all there was. But I always felt that something was empty. There was this persistent, burgeoning sense of aggravation that always nagged within me, and I was convinced that there must be more to life than just the material, than just what meets the eye. Plato puts this best: the unexamined life is not worth living. Life is a journey of exploration, and I began my journey with the search for the value of the intangible in this age of the tangible. Let's first quickly illustrate what the intangible are in our modern world. It includes the subjects that many in our status quo would associate with not having much impact, or not lending themselves to an easy path to corporate success. For example, the arts and the humanities are commonly subjects that we will associate to be too intangible. Many of us here would think that subjects like history or music provide very little positive impact to our future job careers, especially compared to subjects in STEM like engineering or computer science. These are the precise subjects that have seen a steady but pitiful decline in the past few decades. A study conducted by the Education Department's post-secondary integrated data system showed that in the past 10 years, there has been a dramatic 20% decrease in the proportion of humanities degrees awarded in universities. A large factor contributing to this decline is the aforementioned growing emphasis on materialism. In my daily life, when I talk with my friends and family that my future is dreamed in philosophy and literature, I brace myself for the skeptical glances and the awkward silence that follows. And this awkward silence is often accompanied by the hmms and buts, and you're kidding, right? And this is completely natural. After all, it seems counterintuitive that in this world that is full of materialist pursuits, that someone would find such significant value in the study of non-materialist subjects. And in addition, the humanities are subjects that seem unnecessarily difficult to grasp. It's not like physics, where you can derive formulas that are most definitely correct. It's not like engineering, where you can find the best design through a series of cold calculations. The answers in the humanities often present themselves in contradictions, and the deeper you dig, the more complex the answers seem to be. When asked the question, what caused the First World War, I can answer that it was caused by militarism, yes, but at the same time, it was also caused by nationalism and imperialism and entangled alliances and a million other reasons. When Machiavelli wrote The Prince, for example, he intended it to be a satirical text, but at the same time, a pragmatic depiction of tragic realism and his own ticket to the warm embraces of the Medici family. There are 1,000 Hamlets in 1,000 eyes because there simply is no single correct answer to any of these questions. But this isn't a bad thing. In fact, this is one of the main benefits of the humanities. The fact that we can never find solace in any answer means that we are always going to be pushed to keep going. There will never be a frontier that can be reached in these subjects because there are always more questions to ask and more thoughts to ponder. In addition, this allows us to engage with different perspectives. When faced with the question of what George Orwell meant in his novel 1984, everyone here will have a different answer. Is he warning us of totalitarian oversight? Is he warning us for perpetual war? Or perhaps he is showing us the fragile will of human nature. The point is, every single one of these answers could be correct in their own way. The humanities show us that truth does not exist on a simple binary, but rather on a multidimensional spectrum. What matters truly is how we get to that, and the ability to respect and understand that every single one of us can be correct in our own way. There are always more perspectives than there are questions and answers, and the humanities prime us for such a lifestyle. The second benefit of the humanities is the way that it encourages us to explore, both the world around us and the world within. The humanities themselves foster a climate of curiosity and the courage to strive for the unknown. It embodies within it the spirit of exploration and uncertainty, and it is the ability to be comfortable with being uncomfortable that drives discovery in our world. This is an important attribute among leading professionals. Innovation and discovery require those who are willing to take the first step for it to be mechanized. Especially in the 21st century, with the advent of technology replacing many jobs, we are in desperate need of those who can create their own new paths. Industries in the future job market are changing in unpredictable and unforeseeable ways, and the best way for us to equip ourselves with the tools necessary is to learn the skills that can adapt to a myriad of fields. The humanities offer this precise benefit. They introduce us to universally applicable skills like the ability to think critically in multiple different angles and the capacity of tolerance for ambiguity and the unknown. It is because the focus of the humanities is on the how of a question as opposed to what the answer is that allows us to be better equipped with these skills. But in addition to the exploration of the world around us, the humanities also teach us more about ourselves. The stances that we take on philosophical debates, for example, can reveal a lot about our own moral compasses. Similarly, the messages that we glean from our different books can teach us how we think ourselves. When I was first introduced to the journey of philosophy, I was introduced to the concept of utilitarianism. This is a moral theory that states that the maximization of happiness to be the good. At first glance, this sounds pretty nice and intuitive. After all, happiness is good, and so maximizing happiness for everyone must also be good, right? But then I was confronted with a tricky problem. Would it be right for me to kill one person to harvest their organs and save 5 other individuals? I suppose people in this room will have differing opinions, and the point isn't to discredit any of these. Rather, it is to show that we can truly under ourselves better through the study of these intangible arts. If we ever wish to actualize our full potential, it must first begin with an understanding of who we are. But perhaps the most important benefit of the humanities is rooted within the word itself. Humanities, the study of humans. When you take a course in this germane fields, you are simply employing a variety of techniques to examine the course of human conditions. This could be directly, as in the case of history, where we take a retrospective approach to understand the course of human civilization, but it could also be indirectly, like in subjects like art and literature, where we see how different people in different places and different backgrounds use non-academic means to express their own thoughts and ideas. Simply put, the humanities are the study of what makes us as humans human. With this, it allows us to grapple with more than just the immediate and the pragmatic. We are given the choice to view the world through not only the lens of objects, but humans. It enables us to develop a stronger sense of empathy, one that is not grounded in a simple equation of cost and benefit, but rather in our moral dignity as humans. But furthermore, this allows us to see the bigger picture. Instead of drawing overly simplistic conclusions from just what is in front of us, the humanities remind us that there is always a story that is waiting to be told by people that we may never know. It is not enough for us to take one glance at the de facto Jim Crow and the status quo and try to apply the Band-Aid solution to it, because this course of action will always overlook the history of subjugation across social, political, geographic, cultural, and economic grounds. And it will always miss the key element of empathy that is necessary for us to move forward as a moral society. The world needs those to understand what makes us human just as much as it needs those to improve our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, the world that we live in presents a daunting depiction of reality to us. There are times that we may feel lost in this age of the tangible, where every single step that we take must head in the direction of the material goal. But we should keep in mind that the intangible can be just as valuable as the tangible. Life, after all, is a journey of exploration. Let us keep exploring, and maybe one day we will finally walk out of Plato's cave. Thank you.